Welcome. Hello. Welcome to another Dating Tips Wednesday with Raeeka, the dating coach, dating with confidence. I am so happy to be here. I love connecting with my ladies. What I want to talk about today is pretty common with women, especially if you are in your late 30s, anywhere from mid 30s all the way up. As you are dating, you might be dealing with, I know I channeled Julie Andrews, that's true, Brady. It is pretty common that the man that you will be dating has an ex, hi Jenny June, has an ex or has children and is dealing with the mother of his kids. And whether you like it or not, that does involve you. That does get you into the situation. Why is that? Well, the reason is that when you are in a relationship with a man and you are dating, especially exclusively, or even you are kind of like in a way getting to know him and you guys are kind of getting to be more exclusive, your plans, your decision making, your lives are becoming more intertwined, right? So whether we like it or not, and why do I say we? Because I experienced that. Brady, who's the customer success director at Dating with Confidence and one of my very good friends who's also here, knows that I have experienced that. And, it can really make life sometimes challenging in a relationship. So today I'm coming on because one of my beautiful alumni students, Michelle, actually wanted me to talk about this. This was coming from her, and she said, I want to know more about ex-wife drama. I truly know I cannot control his ex-wife's actions or words because she's done the Irresistible Woman program. I'm only responsible for how I feel and how I react, and I'm able to acknowledge that this triggers me. I am not enough gremlin. And gremlin in my language, or in my kind of like vocabulary at Dating with Confidence, is that inner negative chatter, the critical committee, right? So she hears that critical committee that says, hey, Michelle, you're not good enough, right? Because whenever the ex-wife becomes demanding of the kids or wants to affect their love or their relation, what she does affects the relationship, where there has to be a course change, in there. Well, guess what? It really affects her, and it's very understandable because Michelle is an irresistible woman and a human. So I feel that I'm needing support around how to accept that his children will never be in our lives together, that his ex will always make our relationship more trying because of her strong dislike towards me. What and I won't name names, her boyfriend and I, basically what we, meaning she and her boyfriend, represent are, and how she has told his children that their father doesn't love them because he has moved on and moved away, right? Basically moved on with his personal life. There's about a 2-hour drive between the children and him. And he saw his daughter for Father's Day. He took my car because he's moving his furniture up to my house this week. And basically, bottom line is that his daughter refused to go anywhere with him because it was my client's car, and his ex was verbally hostile and refused to discuss their daughter's school situation after she learned whose car he was driving. This anger towards the idea of him moving on and being happy is confusing to me. I know they are projecting their unhappiness towards the divorce, and it's been 7 years that this couple has divorced, but it was the mother who told him she didn't want a relationship with him, yet she wanted him living in the house with them. Question mark, what's going on? Okay, so this is pretty common, right? Because as we grow up and as we date, we start meeting guys just like we have a past, they have a past, right? Now, why is it important to address this? Why is it important to know how to handle this situation? Because if you don't have the tools to handle this situation, this can break a relationship that can be so amazing, has so much potential for greatness. And why do you have to listen to me? Because I've been through this. I have gone through this with the love of my life, Tim. And there have been times where it has been really, really challenging with the mother of his child. So this subject is very near and dear to my heart. And I've helped a lot of my clients get past this and be able to figure this out. In fact, I have a client who is getting ready to move in. She's literally in the process of moving in with her boyfriend right now. And she has 2 kids and he has 3. And she has to deal with the same situation because his ex is very involved in what the kids do. And unlike my client, who really is the sole person in charge of her kids because the father is MIA. So you see, there are different situations. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background so that it can help you understand there could be different situations. In case of Michelle, I know that she doesn't have kids. She does want to have his kids involved in her life. She's an incredibly kind woman, and she has really worked on herself to become that irresistible woman. She and I worked together for a number of years, and she is now in a very successful relationship with a beautiful, wonderful man that she's with. And in my case, I never wanted kids. I still don't want kids. I care less about having kids. I never wanted to be a mom. And my beloved has a child, and it was really difficult for me to adjust to that because it really came down to I either have to accept him the way he is with a daughter, or I have to leave, right? And the first, a majority of our time together has been quite challenging around this area. So I want to really make it clear here that in this situation, you are the sole person, the only person you can control. You cannot change the ex. You cannot ask them to be differently. You cannot force them to be differently or act differently. You also can't really ignore the fact that your man, your beloved, your potential boyfriend, husband, life partner, this man that you are dating, even if it's at the beginning, has this reality in his life. So the things that I always say about a situation that is not kind of like it's not to our liking or it's not ideal is this: you either change it, you either accept it, or you leave it. And I know that in my particular experience and in the experience of my clients that I've worked with, many of whom have been dealing with this situation, it has been super important. Hi, Connie. It has been super important for the person, meaning me or you who's listening, to know that you are making a choice to be with this man, with this set of challenges that he has in his life. Now, when we accept our choice, which, you know, I have taught this extensively in my Irresistible Woman course, both in the beta that's going on right now and the Irresistible Woman paid group, is that we all have what is called seniority. And seniority, not sovereignty, seniority, meaning like a senior in in a high school. Seniority is a power that we as humans are all born with. And that power is the power of choice. And because we're humans, because as humans, it's quite common, it's part of our being, it's part of our makeup to forget things, right? Pretty much from the moment we are born, right, we have a brain that retains some information and forgets a lot of things. And that's actually good for us, because otherwise, if we remember every single thing, right, we will have like brain overload and explode. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down so far? Yes, no, you can put a Y in the comments so I know that you are. Okay, now, in this particular situation, you have 100% seniority over how you want to deal with this situation, right? You get to choose if this even is a problem or not. You get to choose that this is a person that's unpredictable. This is a person that who's, meaning the ex, has, okay, great, you guys are picking it up, wonderful. This is a person that has a set of behavior that is not in alignment with how I would handle things, right? I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't say, hey, you cannot get into his ex's car because, you know, it's hers and blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't tell my child that your father doesn't love you anymore. I wouldn't put poisonous thoughts like that in their head. But you can't do that because you are not her, and she hasn't asked you to coach her or help her or change her opinion. She has a set of issues, challenges, maybe sadness that she needs to work through. She has her own karma, meaning she has her own lessons to learn. That is none of your business. So the best that we can do in this situation is to really look at the areas where you have 100% control over. So here are some things that I want you to take notes on to remind you, and you already know this, but to remind you that you have control over these things. Number one, you get to choose how you want to see this situation. You can see it as an obstacle. You can see it as, by the way, this is my new mic. I really love it. You can get to see if this is something that you will accept to begin with or not. Once you are accepting that your man is worth going through this challenge, because you know what? It's not a forever thing, ladies. Let's remember, the most it's going to be till the kid is 18. After that, nobody has any control anymore, because in this country, kids are adults once in this particular custody situation after they're 18. So you always have to deal with her presence, but you don't have to deal with this much drama, right? So you have to choose. Is this man, does he have all my non-negotiables? Is he providing me and filling my emotional cup with what he personally is bringing to the table, regardless of the ex, regardless of the children's situation? And if the answer is yes, then you're making a choice. That was my answer. There were many, my partner, Tim, never forced me to stay in this relationship. He never told me that you have to do this or that, because he can't. He doesn't have any seniority over me. But he also was very honest about where he is and that he has a kid. And for somebody like me who didn't want to have kids, that was a big decision to make for me. So what we did was a boatload of conversations, a boatload, yeah, I want to say shitload, but I'm being very polite, a boatload of, figuring things out, especially talking about our emotions. I would tell him how it made me feel. And because he is such a quality man, because he's so amazing, he would listen. He would receive and acknowledge and appreciate and hear where I am. And the fact that he would hear me out, he would hear my frustration, he would be understanding of it, it would make me want to stay even more with him. Because I would remind myself that, you know what, in the span of 50, 60, 70, whatever, not 70 years, but let's say in the span of 40 years that we can spend with each other, right? Or 50 years. These 14 years is nothing. Nothing, really, when you think of it, is nothing. And it's not like it's happening on a daily basis, right? So how can I grow and how can I live? And that was a choice I made. How can I live? How could I know? How can I get my seniority back to deal with what I've chosen? So step one was you got to accept your decision. You got to know that if you're accepting this person, it is a choice. Nobody has put a gun to your head. And if you're choosing him out of fear, out of scarcity, out of this is going to be the last man standing, therefore I'm going to put up with this shit, well, you got to be in my Irresistible Woman course, because that's why you are where you are. I know that that's not the case for Michelle. I know she knows so much better. She's just frustrated. And like any amazing human, she needs a reminder. But for those of you who are really seeing this as an issue, because I know so many of you bring it up, his ex is this, his ex does this, the mother of his child does this, it drives me crazy, it makes my life like hell. Hell or heaven is completely a choice of your perspective. So, number 2, take 100% responsibility of the choice that you made. So accept that this was a choice you made was step 1. I'm going to go back. Step 1 was, are you accepting this person into your life? Does he evaluate? Is all of the goods that he have outweigh this? And are you going to be able to accept that? Okay? Because if you can, then you have to, if you want, then you got to accept this part of it. Number 2, accept that this is a choice you are making. Number 3, take 100% responsibility for the choices you're making. You've got to understand that you are choosing. You have to be responsible for that. You cannot constantly blame the ex. You cannot get involved with that drama. And you cannot certainly constantly ruin a wonderful relationship because it doesn't feel good right now. Is it making sense? Is this making sense? Because here is the thing. The moment you give your seniority away, the moment you give your power of choice away, the moment you start blaming and wishing that the ex would be somebody else, you are putting yourself in a place of a victim. You become the victim to the situation. And it's going to make your relationship like hell. I promise you. And the thing that, again, I want to remember, because as humans we can forget, and this is number 5, is to remind yourself, this is temporary. If he is worth going through this, then this is temporary, right? So for Michelle, she desires to have his children in their lives. If that's not something that's happening, you can acknowledge your wishes, but you have to accept that that's not going to happen with these kids, at least not until now. My advice is the more you let go, you detach, not only you free yourself, but you're also stopping this kind of temperature going up around this topic, both for you, all for you, for him, and for the ex. Let her be and have a sense of control over the situation. And because it is their children, let them figure it out, right? Because in a way, you wishing something about his children to be in your life is kind of wishing for something that somebody is not willing to give to you. It's like kind of wanting to get a man that absolutely doesn't want to commit to you. It's like, I really wish to have this man in my life, but the man is saying, I'm not going to commit to you. I actually talked to someone last night who was like, I need help, and she's thinking of, enrolling in the, not thinking, she's actually joining the Irresistible Woman coaching program. And she was totally telling me like, he's like this, he's like that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, you need to accept what's going on here. You can't wish for him to be somebody else or something else. So when we go against that current that's coming towards us from the ex, and we want to constantly fight it, and this is the thing, when we want to prove our need to be right, because we think we're doing the right thing, we set ourselves up for suffering. You have 100% control over what you want to experience in this situation. And here is what I have learned in my own experience. I believe that if I want more love in my life, and this is where your work comes in, and this is not easy, so this is step 5 or 6. This is not easy, but it's doable, and it's completely available to you. If you want to have love in your life, you got to practice love. And this is really taking it, this is the level that my irresistible women are going. To find love, to experience love, to have love, we must be love, not loving. We must be love, meaning for gold to experience being gold, it needs to be gold. It can't be silver. It's not goldish. It must be gold. I'm sorry, I'm hitting on the microphone. It must be gold. So, actually, I don't need this anymore. I don't know why I have that. I have a microphone. So it is so important for you to understand, in order to bring in love into your life, you must be what? Type it in. What do you need to be? What is your to be? I know there are a lot of you on the call, so come on, ladies, type it up. Who do you need to be to experience love? Love, exactly. You need to be love. And what does that mean? When you see an ex who is having so much drama, who's creating drama, what would it be like if for a second you detach from your need to be right? Because you know that what you see is not what you like, but you don't need to prove that to her. So if you don't have to prove to her that what she's doing is harming the kids, harming your relationship, and most importantly, harming herself, because that energy cannot be a nice energy. I love it, ladies. Good job, all of you. Michelle, you're here. Yay! So if you can be love, meaning if you can have compassion for the ex and understand what kind of a pain must she be feeling inside to be acting out this way? How much pain is in there that she has to act like this? And if you can go above that, and yes, Nazanin, good job. If you can really accept that and see that for her, you will never, ever be attached to what she is doing. You will see this the way you will see a person, like a 4-year-old, right, who is, you know, what is it, like stomping his feet, and he's like, I want my chocolate, or you're mean, mommy, right? You see that, and you never think that child is an evil person. You see it as being a child who doesn't know any better how to deal with what they didn't get. Ah, good, Michelle. I love it, Michelle. So thank you so much for touching on this for me. Oh my God, you're so incredibly true. I love that this is speaking to you. I know the feeling, Michelle. I've been through this. And when I think of my situation, I truly send love to this woman. I do. There are times where I get so mad. I'm not going to lie to you. And I hope she actually finds this on my Facebook. I don't know if she ever, maybe she Facebook stalks me or not. I hope she does. But the thing is that I have moments where I get angry. I have moments where I am so pissed off at her. I hate what she does, a lot of times, especially because it puts really the child in the middle of all this. And it's very unfair to her or to him, the kids. But I see a scared and a woman who is in pain. I wish she would be in my courses so she could learn to love herself, so she didn't need to get that kind of attention in this way. But please understand that exes that create drama are like a 4-year-old kid who don't know how to channel their pain. And the only way they know how to do it is to retaliate and get back at someone and to exercise their control. Yes. Amanda says, I love this. This was the biggest challenge of my last relationship. I will be love if dealing with this in the future. Yes, it is so important. And as you step into your 40s, 50s, even in your late 30s, you are going to be finding quality men, amazing men that have a past. And that's okay. That's why you take, for those of you who are in the Irresistible Woman course, that's why we have this course, so that you have tools. Because really, this is such a small problem. This is not a big problem. When you look back at your life in 20 years, in 25 years, in 30 years with this amazing man that you have built a life, this doesn't even matter anymore. And here is the thing. When you are love, when you act on love, when you bring love to the equation, and when you actually bring this to your relationship with your man, you help him by not exasperating, is that the right word? The situation, because he is also stuck in the middle of you, him, and the kid or kids. So if you feel this pressure, he's feeling it 10 times more, because he's so scared to lose you. He wants to be with you. He's chosen to be with you, right? So really step into that place of understanding that this is temporary, that a good man is worth going through this. You can see this as a learning experience, especially if you're in the Irresistible Woman course. And you've learned from me that we learn to date for growth and have a relationship for growth, right? So what do? We take this situation and we figure out what's that next level that I can even be more evolved than what I am right now. Am I going to get involved with my ego, or am I going to really tap into my higher self? Now, a lot of you can say, well, if I do that, that means I'm giving her power. No, you are not, because you have him and you have love and you have the kind of relationship that she might have never had with him. You are happy. You have happiness. You have positive flow in your life, right? So, and this person is someone who doesn't have that. And it's sad. So send her a prayer, send her good vibes, send her this energy that may she experience love, may she experience self-love, self-compassion, may she experience her seniority so that she doesn't have to pull on him and use the kids as an excuse to make somebody else like have control, because she thinks that when she does that, she has control. This is all about control. And the more you don't give that control any power, the more you kind of ignore it and you kind of think of it as like a fly noise, like zzz, and you're like, or like, right? It's just not there anymore. You get to choose. And I can say that in my experience, Tim has truly changed his approach, and there is much more harmony going on than there was before. And I bless this woman every time I think of her, and I'm not kidding you. As much as she can be, the reason, I can count like 25 reasons why she has, caused me pain. But every one of those 25 times I grew. So I thank her. I'm grateful for her. I cannot be the coach that I am today. If she was not in my life, I couldn't be here helping you. And guess what? When we go to that higher level, this is a ripple effect. Now there is going to be hundreds of you listening to this, right? And guess what? You're going to go from there and tell someone else and tell someone else. And we're going to stop this ridiculous message of, oh, his ex is this and the ex is that and blah, 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 and fuck her and bitch and blah, blah, blah. And all that kind of ridiculous shit that we do when we get involved and become the same level, even lower than the ex. That is your personal responsibility. That is when you really need to know what energy level are you operating from. So let's go through the steps one more time and write this down if you haven't. Number one, and I might not say them in order, but these are the things that I want you to know. So number one, you need to understand, to begin with, is this guy that you've chosen to be with, because it is your choice, not your mom's choice, not your dad's choice, it is your choice. If you are accepting this man in your life, you're accepting him with this kind of a situation, right? Are all of his amazing qualities outweighing, right, the ones that you don't like, which is this situation? And remember, you get to have only 5 non-negotiables. Those of you in my Irresistible Woman year-round program know that. The beta people, you can learn that as we're going on, right? You only get to have 5 non-negotiables, not 24. So with that said, are you accepting this man? Now, when you say, okay, I want to be with him, number 2, accept the choice that you're making. A lot of times we make a choice, but then we nag about it and we bitch about it. Stop nagging and bitching and know that this is a choice I've made with open eyes. I want to be with this man. Okay? Number 3, take 100% responsibility for the choice that you have made, right? Which means you need to, it is not her responsibility to act better. It is not her responsibility to behave like an adult because she had no say in it, right? You're the one who came into the equation. So take charge and own it and be responsible for that choice. Stop pointing fingers at how horrible she is. Okay, that was number 3. Number 4, I want to make sure that you know that you have seniority over the choices you make. Anytime you point fingers at her, you're giving away your power of choice. You're giving away your power. So maybe write this down and put it around your house and remember, you have seniority, which is the power of choice. And when you leave that power of choice, you give it away and you weaken your position. Okay, number 5. In order to experience love, you need to be love. If you're coming with your boxing gloves on, if you're coming with, well, what does that mean? Does that mean that I have to sacrifice my relationship for her? Well, guess what? You already are with that attitude. But when you ignore it, when you step up, when you look at her as a 4-year-old child who doesn't know how else to manage and channel her feelings except for, saying ridiculous stuff that's just like literally a 3-year-old's, a 3-year-old can do better, then you don't have to think that you are actually a victim here. You see her for what she is. You accept her for what she is. You're not responsible for training her. But you can actually be like, wow, interesting. Sounds like she's acting out again. Wow, she must be really sad. And number 6, send her love. Send her love. She might not feel it right now, but send her love. I know that this can sound a little woo-woo for a lot of you, and that's okay. You don't need to do it if you don't want to. But if you want to try it and send love, and hi, Lisa, and really be a woman who believes that energy travels, because when you send her love, then you show up as love, then you are kind, then you are compassionate, you're understanding. Again, understanding and compassionate doesn't mean that you accept her behavior as being in alignment with who you are, but you just see it as something that's happening. It's momentarily and it goes away. It's like, poof, it's done. Right? All right. So I really would like to hear your takeaways from this. I want to know, knowing that you have the seniority and the power to change things, how would you show up differently? Michelle, especially you, how would you show up? Amanda, you said that you would like to do that. How are you going to show differently now that you have these steps and this information, right? And how can you manage what the ex is doing by the way you are showing up, right? Because here's the thing, the level of the drama of the ex depends on the level of what you accept from her. If you accept her the way she is, then you just look at it as something as it's outside. If you get involved in it and want to fix it, then you're going to be, right, totally suffering. Lisa, I love that you're here. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I miss you. Lisa is a beautiful graduate and alumni of the Irresistible Woman who is also with a boyfriend. Really awesome man, actually. I've met him. They came to San Francisco and I visited with both of them. It was so sweet. Michelle says, oh, wow, mic drop. Never saw it that way. I've been so dealing with the ego and with boxing gloves up to fight what's best for the kids rather than be love for him, for the difficulties for the children and for her. It's truly a control power struggle. Yes, for her, sadly. Yet she has no idea that I truly respect her raising those girls. Wow, I can't wait to listen to this over and over again. Brady, please send me it so I can replay it with Paul so we can be a team on this. He's so worth out of out of 5 non-negotiables. All this time, I felt powerless. I forgot how much I have the choice. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you. Oh, you are so welcome. You are so welcome. Amanda says, I will show up with compassion towards her and her situation. Lisa says, I came in at the end. I believe sending love to her doesn't open up a space for her to come in, but sends it back to her and shuts the door on her. Yes, exactamundo. Love it. I love this. And ladies, these women, by the way, who all responded are graduates or current students of Irresistible Woman. Do you see the level in which they are operating? This is something you can have too. When we go with fight, we get fight back. The energy that we put out there is the energy we get back, whether you like it or not. And this doesn't mean you have to be a doormat. No, this means that you become the adult, right? And you don't give those bullshit energy any power, right? Because you got to understand that this ex with all her drama is in a lot of pain. That's where the acting out is coming from. And if you can understand that, if you can truly be with that and have compassion for this person, and perhaps pray for them one day to actually take the Irresistible Woman course, they won't have to be in this much pain. None of us need to be in this much pain, but you are only responsible for your actions, not her actions or his actions. Michelle, the replay is always in the group, so you don't even have to ask for Brady to do it. Always these Facebook Lives, they're always there. So they're always in the group. All you have to do is search for the topic in the video section, or, you know, if you're on your mobile, you will see it under, just search for the topic, you know, X of the drama, and the video should come up. Or if you go to the photo section on your mobile, you will see the Facebook Lives as well. I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful week. And I have to do this because Amanda is on the page, and I used to do this before on the Facebook Lives, and that was it. This is the song. Okay. By the way, if you don't know, I'm a professional opera singer, so I have to do this before I go. Amanda, I just met a girl named Amanda. So that's for you, Amanda. I love you. I love